Welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige from Paperbacks and Lattes, and today we are going to be discussing what I read for Contemporary-athon round 6. Okay, let's get started. I had 6 books picked out on my TBR for Contemporary-athon round 6, and I was able to complete 4.5. That's right, I only got half of the 5th book finished. I actually hit 50% right at midnight on the last day, so I got exactly 4.5 books read. So here are my thoughts on the books and what I rated them. First on my TBR, I had Savage by Mia Sheridan. I had Blindsided by Finley, November 9 by Colleen Hoover, Disgrace by Brittainy C. Cherry, Eleanor and Gray by Brittainy C. Cherry, and Work in Progress by Stacey Hart. The first one I read was Eleanor and Gray by Brittainy C. Cherry, and it is about a girl who, the story begins when she is 16 and she is struggling with her mother discovering that she has cancer, and she meets this boy from her school and they become friends because he has went through a very similar experience. So he helps her through it, helps her find joy through a very hard time. Through events that happen in their lives, they become separated and they meet up later on in life, and he has previously married and has children, and she becomes the nanny for his children. And so you see that their relationship bloom from there. He has experienced loss in his life due to losing his wife of his kids' mother, and so the whole book is filled with loss, and it is very emotional, very hard-hitting. It made me cry a lot because I have experienced loss in my life. I lost my mother when I was a teenager to cancer, and so it was just very hard-hitting for me, and it was a very hard read. It was very good though, very well written, and the story was phenomenal. I rated it 5 stars, and yeah, that was my first book of Contemporary-athon. The second book was Disgrace by Brittainy C. Cherry, another Brittainy C. Cherry book. This was for my hard-hitting, although I could have classified Eleanor and Gray for hard-hitting. This is about a married couple and their struggles, and I thought it was going to be about their relationship, how they were going to find love again, but it actually was not. She has to move back to her hometown when she and her husband separate. It is about her finding her true self because she doesn't really know who she is, because she's always relied on her parents or her husband telling her who she is and what she likes, and so she doesn't know who she is. And so she begins discovering that, and she also meets somebody from her hometown who is just the black sheep of the town, and she has come from one of the better known families of the community, and so she is in the spotlight, and everybody looks down on her for associating with this guy who is not very well liked, and people who try to run him and his dad from town. And so it is their romance of the story, and it's also a very emotional book and hard-hitting as well. The third book that I completed for Contemporary-athon was Blindsided by Finley. This is number 4 or 5, I can't remember off the top of my head, of the Fake Boyfriend series by Finley. I have thoroughly enjoyed the series. It is all MM romances, and it is all about high-profile people, them coming out to the public and what they go through and what they have to face just to be with the person that they love. It's very emotional, very hard-hitting, and the romances are very sweet, and I just love each one of them. They're all either athletes, journalists, musicians. They're all very high-profile men, and they just are discovering. Some of them already have come out, some have not, and it's really eye-opening to see what these people go through just to be with the ones that they love. I definitely love Blindsided. The fourth book I read for Contemporary-athon was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. It was a slow start for me, but I did eventually get into it, and then once I got into it, I read it very quickly. This is about a girl who grew up in the spotlight because her dad is an actor, and she's an actor herself, until a tragedy happened when their house caught on fire, and she was left in the house when it was burning, and so she got burned really bad, and she is very heavily scarred from the fire, and she has not been the same since. She has very low self-esteem. She tries to hide her scars. She's very ashamed of who she is, and she doesn't know what she wants, and she doesn't have very much support from her father. And so she begins this relationship with this guy as a fake boyfriend, and they meet on November 9th, and so they decide, we're going to meet up November 9th because she doesn't want to be in a serious relationship until after 23, and so for the next 5 years they were going to meet up on November 9th every year. And this book shows them meeting up every November 9th and what they go through during the year, and her coming back into herself, realizing who she is, even though this awful thing happened to her in her life, that she still can overcome it. And it is frustrating at times because you just want them to be together, and everything seems to be keeping them apart. It is very slow burn, very just frustrating, and you just want them to just go ahead and be together. But overall, it's a very good romance and very well written, and another Colleen Hoover book that I thoroughly enjoyed. I read half of Savage by Mia Sheridan. This is actually the next day after Contemporary-athon ended, and I'm still not finished with the book, but I think I'll be finished with it today. But from the half that I can put forward towards Contemporary-athon, the beginning was slow, but then I quickly got into it, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. It is about a girl who was asked to help the local police of her town help investigate a murder. She is a wilderness guide, and they needed to go out into the wilderness where these murders happen, and she was asked to help guide the police and help them out. And so she discovers this man who was, as a little boy, he was thrown into the wilderness, and he has had nobody around him except for this one man, and they are uncovering the mystery around why he has had to survive in the wilderness, and it is very good. At the 50% mark, it was very promising, and I am looking forward to finishing it. So that is a wrap up of the books that I read for Contemporary-athon. I hope that you received some good recommendations from this video, and I hope that you had a good reading experience for Contemporary-athon as well. Let me know in the comments below what you read for Contemporary-athon, or what you think about the books that I read, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.